Monale Ratsoma admits there have been a number of challenges in getting the bank up and running, but he assures that the wheels are turning. Even with the challenges, it's a fair timeline. The idea was first mooted in 2012 at the BRICS Summit in India. In 2013, BRICS finance ministers completed their feasibility studies. A year later, the 5 nations signed an agreement to establish the New Development Bank. The Board of Governors of the NDB held their first meeting in 2015. The bank became operational early 2016. The Africa Regional Centre has a clear mandate.
The Africa Regional Centre has been set up for the purpose of facilitating infrastructure in South Africa and in the rest of the continent. As it stands, the traditional multilateral development banks have dedicated resources, for instance, developing countries, and for the continent, those resources are far short of what the continent needs in terms of its infrastructure gap. From a financing point of view, I think the NDB can really play a critical role, just given the relations between the continent and, of course, the members of BRICS.
The NDB has a unique business model in which each of the 5 members have committed an equal share of equity. Each hold the same amount of shares and voting rights.
Each committed about $2 billion, which lays the initial foundation in terms of capital provision for the bank. And that's what then countries will look to leverage. Beyond that, then the bank itself would be borrowing in capital markets to upscale or upsize its balance sheet. And there is also a plan that you may see in future issuance of bonds by the bank across different regions.
Africa is a vast and populous continent with ambitions of free trade and the free movement of its people. Ambitions the National Development Bank supports.
It becomes even more critical is the degree to which Africa is not known to be connected within itself in terms of movement of goods, and there's a lot of leakage as a result in terms of trade to other parts of the world. So there's a big opportunity that has been missed because of infrastructure in the continent. It is not up to the level that it can really facilitate a free movement of goods and people.
The regional centre is starting with 3 projects in South Africa that will focus on rail, energy and water. More developments are likely to be announced ahead of the 10th BRICS Summit, set to be hosted by South Africa in July. Sumitra Nydoo, CGTN, Johannesburg, South Africa.